Hey everybody, welcome back. Today we're going to do Out by our upshot 3 of 5 by Rob Williams, Will Conrad, and Marco Lesko. So yeah, let's dive right into this so far very good horror series. And but before I show you that, I believe this is a very good comic. I heard very good things about it. Gonna look into that later, but now so Commander Ludin gets from his underling the information that the Americans, the Allies, are advancing and they are getting cut off, and that Berlin is gonna be next. So Commander Ludin says at some point, he says that the vampire is not, doing exactly what they want, and they don't have the time to train it properly to obey them. Um, but Commander Ludin says, it will obey Becker. I shall turn the tide of this war. We have 72 hours to prepare. That will be enough, and I promise. Meanwhile, he also says, bring the Comanche. So our poor translator, Nocona, is getting brought up by the Nazis. He's getting taken away to the commander, skipping a few pages. But then there's also some dissidents in the POWs camps, because they are some of them like to bully their fellow POWs, and then Bronson, who is, I believe, the second in command, because the one that is the leader there has been taken away, but they don't know that that person is being eaten or killed, or being thrown into the pit of the vampire, and he's not coming back. But they still don't know that. So they have a fight with each other about about the whole bullying thing, and he's the bullying, and Bronson, try to smooth things out, but he is being fed up with the what's going on in the ranks, and he's calling him out. But then they say, stop, look, Nocona, the code talker, and then the fighting stops, and this guy says, I told you, Bronson, back on the trucks where they brought us in. He's a dirty fucking traitor. And then he's been brought forward by the commander, and the commander wants to talk with him. He says, Nocona says, I hear it's breathing. It's intelligent, and it speaks, and it wants its freedom, and it's strong. So why does it stay in a pit? So Ludin says, magic. You see the strange markings around the pit edge? Bars and locks on other worlds? It's trapped here, as you are. And the crosses and the dishes on the castle walls? A mix of old rules and new he says, and old rules and the new electromagnetic energy. So we can control the creature and release the feeds. Now please, come sit. You must be very hungry. I thought this creature was just a powerful vampire, but it also eats people. Okay? And it speaks Czech or Czechs. I'm not sure how you say it in American language. But then, Nocona gets he's being fed well, and he says, sit, there's a good dog. Well, that's what Nocona thinks. Plenty like this for you. And Ludin says, the creature, it refuses to leave the pit. You are the only one who can converse it. But Nocona says, I'm not a collaborator. No, but you are not as the same as your fellow prisoner. You are way different from them the moment I met you. And I don't mean the color of your skin. So Lieutenant Ludin points out that he is, Nocona is being treated very poorly by his fellow American prisoners. And she said, you, a man of learning, of sensitivity, have already been attacked in the camp. Do you think they will welcome you back now? And he said, what do you owe their America? A gleaming capitist palace built on bones of genocides. They took your people's lands, Nocona, drove you from your birthright, and now and your people are treating us like slaves. So, yeah, well, he has a point here that in this comic, particularly Nocona, who is, from, I believe, Indian, no, not Indian, also not Indonesian, but, like, what's the word? Native American, that's the word I'm looking for. Descent, he is being treated very poorly by, well, the Americans basically the Americans are very, well, not all of them, but a lot of them, being very racist towards them. So basically Ludin wants to, how do you say, get on his good graces, if you will. So Nocona says, you want me to talk to it and to convince to do what? Well, and Ludin says that he wants to, more like frighten the Americans, drive it back to their homeland and leave them alone. Because Ludin knows that this war is over. So he offers him a deal. Skipping a few pages, we see this POWs try to dig out, and they are hitting something. It's called it's a pipe. So they're going out, and so that means that the POWs wants to escape, but then McCallum, who is the flight lieutenant, and these two had a fight earlier. So he says, McCallum says, do I remind you until Lieutenant Hancock returns, I'm the current officer in charge, Private Hera. But Hera wants to basically get out here because he's been waited long enough. So McCallum points out that without certain Dill's expertise, we don't have the expertise to or the right to support the structures. And that if they go down into the tunnel, if it collapses, they all die. So Hera says, they're killing us one by one, Flight Lieutenant. I mean, Dills has vanished. Hancock never came back from the castle. What does that leave us? And then he speaks about Nocona as in the Redskin. You showed him there was a tunnel out there right before... right now, I'm sorry, they showed him there was a tunnel there, and now he's spilling, as they call it, their guts to the Nazis in their language. Only a traitor would disagree if we're not going outside right now. So again, he tried to push his, how do you say, what's the word I'm looking for, by the way? Pulling their rank, is that the word? But, Hannah or Hera just smacks him in the face. I'm sorry, I didn't catch what you said, sir. So, yeah, Lieutenant McCallum knows that he is not being a very, very favorite person there, and that the POW is not really, respecting the rank of this guy. So he goes out, and then he finds a Nocona here, all freezing, and Nocona, he's being dragged away, and the lieutenant says, they slit your throat if you go in there, so come with me. The Nazis, Colonel says that he found out that the vampire was once upon a time a king. Now, I'm curious what that means. I mean, was he a king of Czechoslovakia or something like that? Or maybe more ancient? Really curious about that. Meanwhile, so the ranking officer is taking Nocona to a safer place, although he's freezing. So Nocona explains what happened back there, and he talks to the vampire, and he says, "Well, I'm also a prisoner like you." But then the creature talks back, and Dylan, the commander, looks, but he cannot understand what they are saying because he's the only one that can understand the creature. He says, Nocona, to the creature, I want to help you, I want to make you a deal. And then said, why don't you come down here and speak to me? But Nocona is very afraid, and eventually does do it anyway. And he says, well now, you are brave. But also the commander just looks up in awe or respect, or maybe in shock that he's going to do that. Skipping a few pages again. So So there's something weird going on. Nocona is afraid, but also freezing. So this commander-in-chief replacement guy says, "It's okay, it's all right. I know it's hard for you, and and I know something of it. You see, I know what it's to be an outsider." And then this happens, and Hera just sees them as two traitors, have a knife in their hand. Now I want to pause here a little bit because it really suggests that the lieutenant is gay. I don't mind that. I mean, I really don't care about that. But because also, I'm going to show you this first. So Hera is here, and he says, "Leave him alone, Hera. Get the ferry flight lieutenant out of here," and get clubbed in the back, and he's unconscious or dead, not sure. Going back here, so I like the fact that he is also being an outsider, just like Nocona. But I want to know what's the purpose of him being gay in this comic. I mean, does it move the plot forward? Is it important to the storyline, or not? Now, it would be a more interesting thing if that's the case. I'm not sure if they're going to that route. I mean, I don't think they're gonna do that, but it would be a more interesting thing if. Now, let me rephrase that. So normally in modern day comics, when somebody comes out as gay or and they meet someone, they fall instantly in love. And I'm not sure how that really works in real life. I mean, if I'm interested in a woman, they don't immediately fall in love with me. That's not how it works. You have to work for it, and stuff like that. So, but in comics, it's way different. They just well, we are an item now. Now, I'm not sure if they're going that route, but it would be more interesting if Nocona is not really interested in men, because there's no hints of it that he might be actually gay too. And then when the second in command guy here, confesses his quote-unquote interest in him, and then Nocona rejects him, that he might turn on Nocona, and then, betrays him in the end. That will be a nice twist, like a lover scorned or something like that. I'm not sure how that they probably do not go that route, but that would be a more interesting plot device of, hey, oh, by the way, you are a Native American, you have it hard in this time, and I'm gay, so I'm being rejected as well. That doesn't really do it for me. It would be more interesting if they actually do with something with that quote unquote plot, if there is any plot at all. But that's me just, filling in some blanks that probably never gonna happen. Anyway, moving on. So they are, so Hera is gonna, try to kill Nocona, but then Nocona says, "Take him." And then this one. So the vampire takes out Hera, and I really love the fact that he is also digging his claws into his body and then actually eats his face or rips his face off. Well, Uber-Commander, well, it's not Uber-Commander, but the Commander Ludin is looking very, satisfied while he hears the screaming of the dead outside. Yeah, I love it. And that brings us to the end of this issue number 3, and then we go into the next one. So this is a preview what's happening next. Yeah, really cool stuff. I like this series a lot. It's very dark, and it's just a horror comic, and they do it so far very well. So, and that brings us to the end of the video. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you liked the video. Leave a comment about what I said and what this plot is meaning to you, or where this is going. I'm really curious to hear your thoughts about this. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.